The umbrella term Art Deco was coined by the British art historian B.S. Hiller in 1968 in his slim but landmark survey Art Deco of the 20s and 30s, the first book to examine the style as a whole. Hiller used the name as an anglicized shorthand for the celebrated Exposition Universelle in Paris in 1925. Transported from France, Art Deco captured the global imagination as a symbol of all that was chic and contemporary, from a skyscraper-themed gentleman silk and the kimono in Tokyo to brightly painted deck apartment buildings in Melbourne, Sydney, Australia, and in Napier in New Zealand, which has the largest concentration of Art Deco buildings in the world, leveled by the earthquake in 1931 and rebuilt its Deco style incorporating indigenous Maori motifs. Art Deco New York is forever associated with the fizzy energy of the Jazz Age, speakeasies, the gleaming tiara of the Chrysler Building, everything that was new and so elegant about the second decade of the 20th century, but its stylistic roots go deeper. One critic noted that Deco's influence ranged from ancient past to the distant future. Deco is easy to recognize, but as difficult to pin down as a blob of mercury. Deco was a wild party after the mechanized carnage of the Great War and the ravages of the Spanish flu, which ultimately killed more people worldwide. American and French victors relished making whoopee in New World, fleeting life itself. Americans called the years from 1923 to 1929 the Coolidge, then like wildfire on the American imagination. Noir was residential, boutique-oriented, whimsical. Americans had no time for whimsy. They were too busy building skyscrapers and making money. The style prestige was evident in major municipal buildings that, like the rocket-shaped Nebraska state capitol, that dominates the plains of the Cornhusker state. The classic Deco masons of Los Angeles City Hall, familiar to TV watchers from Dragnet to every other cop show set in Southern California, and the mountain-like Buffalo City Hall, making the Manhattan penthouse synonymous with sophistication and cosmopolitanism. Syncopated Manhattan skyline, the synonym of Art Deco, was due to something mundane as a change in the civic zoning code. After the turn of the 20th century, New York office buildings, notably Ernest R. Graham Equitable Building of 1915, which stands on Lower Broadway, were burgeoning to unreasonable proportions. The Equitable packed in an astonishing 1.2 million square foot of office space, 30 times the size of its footprint, into 41 stories that took up the entire block, and cast a shadow 6 times its height, go to nearby real estate values to plummet. Leaders, under pressure from commercial landowners, decided that something had to be done to restore the circulation of light and air to the streets. They came up with the so-called setback zoning code of 1916, which required the upper stories of a building to step back according to certain formula from the line where the building touched the sidewalk. The results were as revolutionary as they were unexpected.